kids, welcome to our Walk of Fame. This Sabbath's Walk of Fame is on our very own hero and pioneer, our Pa, who you know as Pr Ropati Lesa. Hey Asha, can't believe Pa's gone. I miss him.
Yeah, I can't believe that too. I miss him very much.
But I am very excited to hear from our friends at church.
Yeah, me too.
Hey Asha, what makes this Walk of Fame different to you?
Today's Walk of Fame is different, Hazel, because we are sharing the history about Pa.
Asha, do you think there's a lot to share about Pa?
Yeah, of course there is, Hazel, because Pa lived a long, God-fearing life.
You know what, kids? Let's be excited and parents try not to cry, but it's time to let our SISDAC Vic kid share the long life history of our very own Pa, but known to our Vic kids as Pr Ropati.
Kids, please take it away and share.
God blessed this world with the presence of His child on the 3rd of September 1957 in the village of Papasatawa and Safotu in Savai, Samoa. This child of God was named by his father Siatua Lesa and his mother Itupo Kasia, who then named their blessing Malotu Ipule Ropati Siatua Lesa. Ropati Siatua Lesa had a short memory and relationship with his father as God called Siatua Lesa when Pr Ropati was only 5 years old. Education is important in a child's life and it was very dear to Pr Ropati. As a young boy, he attended Senga Tuamua Primary School and then transferred to Siosi Paulangi, also known as George Brown Intermediate School in Levala. As he became a young teenager, he then attended Technical College, Kolisi Makaka SSA. But then his education was cut short as he needed to take care for his mom and support his family. Being the man he was, he then pushed through to college looking for a job to help his parents and family, which was at a treasure store called Pamu Ole Malu in Savalalo, Apia. So as he became a young adult, he then also met a young woman, Liliu Itamara Fapusa Leseo, who then became his best friend and soulmate, which led them to becoming one in front of God in 1978. Then in 1980, they were blessed with the presence of their firstborn, Tupule Mui Ropati Lesa.
Now, being a father, Ropati Siatua Lesa then started thinking of the future for his family, and then decided to move to New Zealand in 1981 to start a better future for himself and his family. That same year, having saved enough money, he then brought his family over to New Zealand from Samoa in June that same year, 1981.
In 1981, Ropati Siatua Lesa was invited by his brother Toi Whaleanga Lesa to listen to a mission that was hosted by SISDAC by Pastor Papu Siafole. The same year, during these missions, Ropati Siatua Lesa felt the presence of the Holy Spirit, which led him to accepting Jesus Christ and getting baptized into the Samoan Independent Seventh-day Adventist Church.
As Ropati accepted the calling in 1981, he then felt the need to lead his family together, and in 1982, Faletua Liliu Lesa was then baptized as well into SISDAC. The same year, Pr Ropati and Liliu were then blessed with their second blessing, Falele Jacelyn Siatua.
In 1984, Ropati Siatua Lesa had then felt the Spirit again and accepted the calling of the first TMI in the Samoan Independent Seventh-day Adventist Church. But on the same year, in the month of February, they received their third blessing, Fasau Jace Lesa. This same year, in 1984, in the month of May, the evangelism car accident occurred during the time of him serving as a TMI, coming back from their mission in Wellington.
1986, they were then blessed with their fourth child, Langolango Daniel Siatua Lesa. After a year of serving as a TMI, he felt the urge and the calling to keep on serving God and wanted to serve Him in the SMS. Having 4 children and being the only sole income for his family, Pastor Ropati decided not to go to SMS, but to continue providing for his family as a taxi driver.
Having a few years being the salt and comfort for his family, God answered his prayers. He then decided in 1989 he wanted to serve God the best way possible as a minister and joined the SMS school.
But then in 1992, the month of March, he then was blessed with his presence of his fifth child, Itamara Natasha Lesa. The same year, in the month of December, all his hard work and sacrifice was not in vain, which led to him graduating as a minister of the SISDAC Church.
After graduating as a minister in 1992, Pr Ropati Siatua Lesa was then called to lead the sheep of God in the state of Christchurch, New Zealand. After 3 years serving in Christchurch, Pr Ropati was then blessed with his sixth and final blessing, Siatua Junior Lesa, in the year of 1995.
Then in 1996, after serving as a soul seeker and a soul saver as a whaiwhenua, he then was able to graduate again and becoming a licensed pastor for SISDAC, and then was named as Pastor Pr Ropati Siatua Lesa.
In 1998, Pastor Ropati then was called to a second mission as pastor to SISDAC Melbourne, Victoria. When arriving to Melbourne in 1998, there was only one church that was active within the SISDAC congregation, SISDAC St. Albans.
Serving as not only a general pastor but also the leader of Melbourne Division, Pastor Ropati was faced with many trials. In the year of 2018, Pastor Ropati was greatly tested by God. The Melbourne Division was set to split in two, but this did not waver Pastor Ropati's faith in God. He believed in God's plans and allowed the power of prayer and the Holy Spirit to help him conquer and overcome.
Now we have heard Pastor Ropati's journey as a son of God, and throughout his journey there were many more blessings that he was accountable for. One of these blessings was witnessing achievements and graduations of his children. But most of all, he was able to see and feel the experience of becoming a grandfather. Pastor Ropati grew old together with his wife and 6 children, but most of all, his 10 grandchildren, which made him more of a teacher, leader, sealer of his family.
No temptation has overtaken you, except such as common to man. But God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able, but with the temptation will also make the way of escape, that you will be able to bear it. Corinthians 10 verse 13. God's plan was not his, but he showed these temptations and obstacles throughout Pastor Ropati's journey to show the blessings that can be poured to him and his family, but especially to God's people.
John 5 verse 36. But I have a greater witness than John's, for the works which the Father has given me to finish. The very works that I do bear witness of me, that the Father has sent me. God saw the journey that Pastor Pr Ropati Siatua Lesa had endured, and decided that his will be done and not man. Thursday, 16th of December, the year 2021, at 6:27 p.m. is when God's will was done, and our leader of the Melbourne Samoan Independent Seventh-day Adventist Church was called by God.